Hi, I'm Emma Muir, soul coach, energy healer, and well-being guide, and an unapologetic curious soul. Connected Conversations brings well-being, love, and connection through authentic and open conversations, sharing amazing people who are being of service through their businesses, talking about all aspects of well-being and healing in life and in business. As a soul coach, I help men and women unlearn and unfuck themselves from childhood experiences, patterns, programming, and trauma. I know deeply learning through my own path to well-being over the years, all the different parts and habits that are needed to live a heart-centered life filled with well-being. Through my curious nature, I delve into connected conversations showing their journey in business and in life to inspire you to take the path to your well-being. The truth is, we're better supporting one another. We're better sharing our gifts to help one another in deepening our connection to ourselves and others. Thank you for watching or listening. I'm grateful for all your support, for sharing, for liking and commenting. All of you is welcome here. Here is our wonderful guest today to introduce their gifts and passion to you.
Aloha beautifuls, Nik Chung here, soul-led business mentor and coach. I am so stoked to be here, part of this interview with Emma. And what I do is I help soulful entrepreneurs to create their first six figures online in a way that is really easy and unique to them by allowing them to follow through on their soul. Because your soul has a plan for you. And if you just take a moment for yourself to listen to that plan, things get to be really easy, things get to thrive for you, and you get to show up in a way that feels really authentic to you. So I'm stoked to be here with you.
Welcome to Connected Conversations, which is here to bring well-being, love, and connection through authentic and open conversations. I'm sharing time with Nik Chung today, who works with healers and coaches to help them create a six-figure income through a soul-led business evolution. I want to say revolution and evolution all in one, through teaching practices, habits, and skills that allow them to run and, I want to say thrive with their soul in the business, rather than the business running them, the soul's running the business. And look, Nik and I have known each other for such a long time, and I am incredibly pumped to have you on the podcast today, because I know how much you've got to offer, and I'm so excited about diving into it with you. So welcome, and thank you so much for sharing your beautiful time and being here with me. We're going to have a blast.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. If you could feel the energy as an audience member, if you could feel the energy, it's electric. It's like the potentiality of this conversation is already like vibing high.
I know. I know we've got a soul-led business coach and I'm a soul coach. So look out, world. Like, what can
oh my God. It's like, boof.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to contain for a second. So I actually want to know your background and like your business evolution, because I mean, I know it, but I love it, but I want to know how this sort of all rolled out for you. Where did it begin?
So if I look back at my first ever business that I ran, it was called Booty Camp. Booty Camp, like women gather, let's just exercise together. And at that time, I was really obsessed. I come from a physical background, and I was really like, I want to make people feel really good in their bodies. And I wanted it to be inclusive. I wanted it to highlight nature and what we can do in nature outside of the gym. And it just felt like an avenue of mine that was totally inspired when I had come back from traveling. From that, what clicked up from that was that I really love working for myself. And I went into at the time I was doing this as a side hustle, and then I was also working in an office job. And the more that I did my side hustle, the more I was like, I am not meant to be working for someone else. I need to be working for myself. Now, this had already started to melt in me when I had been traveling, and I was like, how can I make a business where I can continue to see the world, have my eyes opened in awe of seeing beautiful places, i.e. be location independent, and time independent. How can this happen? I just kept asking how. And so I started getting glimpses. This was 10 years ago, 10, maybe 12 years ago. Oh my gosh, it's been ages ago. I started getting glimpses when I asked that question, like, of how. And online business then was really, really new. It was like sort of a thing that people didn't trust, you know, like giving their credit card over on online at that time was like, oh, I don't know, very dodgy. So I was dabbling in and just seeing who were the leaders in that. And I just started taking courses and kind of understanding how they were doing this. So I think the first course I took was how to create a online course that was self-paced, where you didn't have to turn up, and it was with a health coach. And nothing actually came from that. I did the whole process and I kind of just stopped. Finally, I quit my job. Like, long story short, I quit my job. I went to a place where because I knew that lifestyle was a very important part of me creating my online business. I went to a place where I could surf, this beautiful place called Raglan in New Zealand. I started up my dance business. So I was still very much in body movement. And this was based on me having learnt the technique, the NIA technique, which is a beautiful
technique.
The NIA technique, NIA.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful holistic body movement, bringing in body, mind, spirit into the practice. So I had a vision then, and that was to create a sustainable community, i.e. loads of teachers within the place so that I could leave. Because you know what I was underneath was still, I want to be able to travel. And if I stay here doing this brick and mortar, I am stuck here.
I love it.
So in the background of all of this, like, I was dabbling in entrepreneur and being my own boss and creating communities. But in the background, I was still very much on the online, like, I need to make this online aspect work. Apologies if you can hear a cat meowing.
No, look, I've done a couple of, and my cat's gone nuts through the house. So don't look. We're friendly here for animals. We love it. I've got a dog. I've got a cat. We've got a lizard here. So we're
great. Good. Okay. Come on then.
Yeah, whatever your cat does is fine.
So in the background, like, always working on the online space, and then I shifted a few times. I met Emma when I had moved over to Australia. I was still doing some dance practice there. I was running a holistic massage therapy business too, an essential oils business. I was just, you know, I'm serial entrepreneur. I love creating. And on the side, I had a life coaching online business. So some people knew me in different areas, but I've always had that online piece running. And during the development of all of my businesses, I had many business coaches and mentors. And they varied from strategy to mindset to energy, everything in between. And if there was like a piece of advice I'd give to anyone who's wanting to start their business, it's get help. Like, get the coaching you need, because that was really how then I got the development of becoming a business coach myself, having grown all these businesses where I was selling a service or a product. It became clear to me that one of the superpowers that I wasn't using was my ability to be really strategic, be really practical. I'm very technology savvy. Like, these are all things that people didn't know and I wasn't using, because all I was doing, not all I was doing, but what I was doing at the time was like holistic services of spiritual healing, and I was neglecting this other side of myself.
And isn't that the key? And I agree with you. For starters, if you want any kind of growth in your life, you're not getting out of it alone. Like, you can, you know what I mean? You can do all like the courses that you want to do and the group stuff. But if you really want growth in health, like even if it's health, go see a health professional.
Yeah.
Go see a natural, well, you know, whoever the therapist is, go see someone.
Yeah.
I'm into natural therapy, so I'm always going to highly recommend that. When I say health professional, I'm saying a natural health professional.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, you can't do it by yourself.
No.
I've tried.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The thing is, you can do it by yourself. It's just a hell of a lot harder.
But you only get so far.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily agree. You only get so far.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's always going to be a missing piece that you're searching for, because you can't see outside of you need someone to sort of go,
Oh,
hey, did you notice that about yourself?
totally. Actually, no, I agree with you there. And also because you're paying someone for the expertise. So they've got knowledge that you didn't even know you didn't need. Like that you don't have.
Yeah, I don't know about you. That's some of my favorite moments with my clients when they're like, it's almost like there's a disappointment, and I have it too when I work with my own coach as well. And it's that moment of, oh, how did I not know that before?
Yeah.
I have grown out of that habit now because,
Good.
like you, I've worked with a lot of people over the years.
Yeah.
And you tend to grow out of that, but it's always the way. Do you not have those moments where they're like, how did I not get that? That's really simple. And you're like, well, you couldn't have because you didn't know. I knew.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, precisely.
And now, look, I remember your essential oil. I still got some of your rollers, to be honest.
Oh, beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, still got them around. I don't know if they're in here. I don't know where they are. I've still got them. I swear to God. Look, yes.
Oh, right there.
How's
a little bit of product placement. Unfortunately, you cannot buy those anymore. That's
no,
done.
you cannot. Sorry. And also, if you're listening on a podcast, I just showed you something which you can't see. And it's often that I do that. Yeah, that's so funny. I've still got those because, over the years, you still collect stuff. Yeah. And I remember you from that early stage of, that's a long time that we've.
And that wasn't even my first iteration, right? So like there was still 4 years before then where I was doing dance, that was my thing. So it's like the involvement of anyone is so critical to the soul-led business and life, right? It's like just honor the fact that you're going to change. And if the more that you can do that, the easier the journey is. If you try to stay stuck, if you try to remain just as you are now, but also wanting something different, oh my goodness, that is painful. It is painful, hard work to do that. So like the more that you can just go, I am meant to evolve and change, and I'm just going with it, and I'm allowing myself full permission to do that, knowing that my soul always has me and is pulling me towards my biggest potentiality, you're going to rock it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get into that question now because I think that's a really beautiful point that you've raised up. And to me, that's one of the biggest distinctions is that cut off from soul. Mm-hmm. So we're saying, listen to soul, and I know that, but I don't know about you, but I get lots of, clients coming in just going, oh, I don't even know how the fuck to listen. Like, I think I am listening. No, you're listening to your brain.
Yeah.
So... what do you find in that? Like, what are some of the kind of blocks that, really stop people getting to that soul-led business?
Yeah. I think for my clients, they're not at the point where they're not hearing anymore. They're definitely hearing. It's the fear of following through. So that's really where my kind of clients are at, is that they know. They are so tuned in. I mean, their work is all about spiritual healing or spiritual services, or they're not even that, but they've got a spiritual side that they've developed. And so they're hearing it, and it's the fear of the change or the fear of the unknown that the soul tugs you in, right? Because the soul knows more than we know. And it's like, hey, we need to adjust over to this path, Nik. So I want you to do this. And you're like sitting there, if you're going to logically think about this, you're going to go, that doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? And so this is the point, the crunchy point, which I work with most of my clients, is like, can you not only just listen, but follow through and trust that that is exactly where you need to go?
Yeah, it's the resistance between ego, personality, and soul, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because the soul's not resistant. The soul's like, hey, let's go and climb that mountain. And you're like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
What is that going to do for me?
Exactly.
You're up on the mountain and you have this amazing epiphany and you're like, woo, could have never had that down on the ground.
Exactly. Like I talk about this with my clients. I'm like, you're going to get weird stuff, like where you're thinking about how do I...
weird.
It's going to get weird. It's like, you're thinking about how to expand your business and you're like, what social media, like you've gone into the nitty gritty. What social media strategy should I do next to grow my audience? Blah, blah, blah. And your soul goes, as you said, go climb the mountain. And you're like, how is that going to help my business? And I always say that it gives the space and stillness for further direction, or most likely it brings you into the vibration that is what it is that you want to create in the future. So people talk a lot about quantum leaping, which is basically about you living your dream right now, energetically, emotionally, mentally. You can live your dream right now, but most people are so stuck in how it is that they want to live their life that they're not willing to do that.
Oh, so I gotta just, I love what you just said. It brings you into the vibration.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
we know when you're in the vibration, you manifest that thing. So the more that you can maintain the vibration and the higher that you can maintain that vibration, the quicker that thing can meet you in physical reality. That is your part of the co-creation between you and universe.
God, I'm already writing down. I get little snippets that I'll use for for marketing, and I'm like, whoa, it's another gold little nugget. I love that, and you're so right, because we can get caught up in mood, can't we? Like, and think that's our vibration. So
Yeah.
you might wake up in a cranky mood for whatever reason and think, oh, I'm vibrating low today. No, you're actually just in a shit
Feeling
mood.
something.
And that's okay. Actually hasn't changed your vibration.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Brings you into the vibration. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. And you can feel it. I don't know about you, but I can feel it in my voice now when I talk.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm in, even if I'm in a shit mood, if I'm in the in like my vibe and my vibration, there's a resonance in my voice that happens. And I'm like, how is
Beautiful.
that possible?
I'm so glad you picked that up, like the difference between emotion and energy.
Oof.
They're not.
Let's go into the difference for that. Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think there's so much to be said where people are confused that they think that their emotion is their energy, and it's not. They're separate things. And so, like, your emotions can affect your energy if you're not used to differentiating between the two. Okay, so that's why there is a lot of work around being emotionally happy and joyful, because it can affect your vibration right at the start. And then you get to the more sophisticated levels where you can feel and be a human being, which is like, number one. I'm one too. Anyone else out there is a human being? Okay, there's a lot of us here.
Comment below if you're a human.
Exactly. So we're allowed to feel any way we feel, and then still maintain a vibration that is a match to what it is that we desire. So even if you don't know how to do that yet, if you just know that piece of information where your energy does not have to affect your emotions do not have to affect your energy, you're free of thinking that you have to be the positive vibes only.
Can we just, look, that's woke as fuck, that term, and it drives me insane. I can't even, like, high vibes. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that.
If you could see me, I am like
yeah, on the I'm like, well, they can hear my voice. They know I'm blown away. And he's like, oh my God, she's rubbing her forehead, like kinesiology, like to de-stress. Yeah, I'm a bit, it's, this like, be positive. And why? If someone's been an ass to you and you call out that behavior, I don't know, I think that's a positive action in life, to be perfectly honest, like for me anyway. You're able to speak up and go, hey, actually, I've got a boundary. That's, I'm not okay with that. But positive vibes, I think it really, for me, misses the mark, and it sends this message of something that's actually unattainable. Like this happy space that's actually an emotion, and you'll experience it in life, but
exactly,
you're not meant to be happy all the time. Because I don't know about you, if I stayed in a high state of happiness all the time, I'm pretty sure I couldn't decide anything, or I'd just be saying yes to everything.
I think for me, there is real beauty with connecting with your emotions, because this is your connection to your humanity, and being able to feel this full spectrum of emotions that exist, from anger, sadness, grief, to the ecstatic joy and love that we can feel, is really beautiful for your ability to be able to connect with the rest of the world. If you are bypassing your emotions and only going high vibes only bullshit, then you basically say to the universe that you disconnect from a whole bunch of other people who are experiencing very real human things. And I actually think that this is one of the big mistakes of spirituality, the spiritual industry, is that the supposedly non-judgmental space of which they're trying to come from, they create that by having things like high vibes only. Yeah, it's like you cannot be that and not judge the emotions like a bad emotion if you're not experiencing that,
Well, I mean, I talk about this with clients all the time. It's just an emotion.
Exactly.
And you can label it all you want. It's like a toy, you know, or a color. It's, you know, you can judge it as a whatever. But some things are cold, hard facts, like that is what we call the color pink or blue or whatever. But when you're labeling it and putting it into roles and, you know, genders, and that doesn't work either. But I agree, when you're in this high vibes only, you're cutting out this whole part of your life that allows shit things to come in so that you can grow. Because I know about you, that's my best time of growth.
Yeah.
I may not love it. It's not my favorite sometimes. Like,
yeah, and I think there's something to be said with that. Even it's just like we can choose to have the bad opportunities be our highest moments of growth, and we can also choose to have maybe these moments of growth could be a little bit easier for us and could be more of the positive aspects of growth. So I think there's something there as well. And I've definitely experienced what you have said, where my best moments have been in the crappy places, but equally now with the switch of that thought, I've had really good things be some of my best teachers too. So it's I
think when you change that lens of it, and to me, stop labeling it,
you
know, and just like, ooh, that was good. Like I liked when I just see it as an opening now and an allowing, and you know, when I'm in receiving, and then I go, wow, that was cool.
You
know, that was amazing. I had the best time ever, and I was extremely happy through the whole thing.
Amazing. So gorgeous.
I love it. Gosh, I've written a bunch of notes, but okay, so let's then, so if emotions are separate, 100% agree with you, then how do you know, like, you're in vibration? How do you know that you're in that? What's it going to look, feel, be? Tell us about that.
So I think this feels different from the work I've done with my clients and what I personally experience. It feels different for different people.
Yeah.
Because again, you are unique. The way that you perceive the world, the way that you perceive spirit and energy is very different. So firstly, you have to get really familiar with how you feel your energetic field. Yeah. So it's like, for me, how I knew that this was happening was one day I was feeling fucking angry and I was like just shitty with the world, you know, just like, this is just, I'm just annoyed, but I could feel a thread, like, and I see it visually and I feel it in my body. I could feel a thread of golden light, which was steady and going exactly towards what I want to create. In terms of the business, so that really, I was like, I could feel the separation between my brain going crazy and being all like angry and not happy, and then this constant vibration that was just like, we got this, right? I'm still here just doing the work behind the scenes. In your business, like, in a very practical way of seeing this, is kind of like when, I don't want to just make this the only example, but a very clear example is like your income. Okay, so like your income remains really steady. Of course, there's strategy involved here and processes as well. But if you've got those in place, your energy can dictate whether that income stays the same towards what you want, or whether it goes through the dips and fluctuations.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the dips and fluctuations sometimes indicate that you've got your emotion attached to your energy, because people go, I can't create money when I feel like shit. Or they go, you know, or they're like, I can't turn up because I don't feel good. So that's when you know that you're kind of attaching yourself, your energy and emotion together, which can reflect in things like income. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. The more we attach stories and meaning to our emotions, the less we can create.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's creating anything, whether it's income, whether it's opportunities, with, in your case, travel. I want to actually loop back around to that because I'm a little bit curious. So what have been some of your favorite travel places?
Oh my gosh. This is such a hard question.
All right. So when you go back to the start, right, and you were like, I actually want this to be part of my business.
Yeah.
What was one of the first places that was like, you knew kind of like, hey, I'm like this, I'm doing it because I've gotten here?
Canada.
Well,
yeah. I was, I had that on the piece of paper to go to for 15 years. And even when I went on my traveling for, I did a year of travel before I came to this conclusion I want to continue. I didn't even go to Canada. Like I just like missed it. And I was like, what? And so then the moment I actually went to Canada, I had set up an online business. I'd set up a passive income stream of a dance course. So it was a dance and emotional freedom course. Hilarious because we're talking about emotions. So I'd forgotten about this because it's been I don't even remember where it is. It's somewhere in the archives. Like I can't remember. Anyway, so I had that going and I was in Canada and my friends were like, so are you taking a break from work? And I was like, oh no, I work for myself now. And they're like, oh great. And I said, actually, I've got income coming in. And they're like, huh? Because they weren't familiar with passive income or any of those ideas. And I said, yeah, I've got this online course and I just pop some posts on social media and people join when they want to. And they were just like, whoa. And I remember then feeling like, I've done this. I've created this. Now, bear in mind that this was at this time still just like a side hustle for me. Yeah, I still hadn't fully stepped into the online space. I was kind of still just having that as like the extra thing on the side. Yeah, but I knew that I was on my way.
I love that. So I want to ask now, and look, I probably could ask you many questions about travel. It's funny though, inherently I've never been drawn to travel, which is really interesting.
Wow.
But it's not like I haven't, but it's not a necessity for me. You know, it doesn't necessarily, like, I love when people talk about what fills their soul and travel's part of it. Mine's nature, and I can do that anywhere. You know, like I can travel anywhere for that. Yeah. So what does being of service mean to you?
Oh, this is a good question. I don't love the word service, to be honest.
I'm with you, but I do, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
What word do you like then?
Contribution, I would say, being of contribution. Service just, and I'll clarify this for the people listening why I have a thing against it. This is my personal opinion, but it's just more like where that root of the word came from, and that was from like slavery times and things like that. Like, so that's why I just don't love the word service. I also think it brings about a connotation of like, where it can be disempowering, where you give your power away because you're in service to something. And I always feel like when we recollect our power, that is when we can be of the best contribution. So just to clarify that for people. So what does being of contribution mean to me? Outside of all of that, it's about, this hit me when I was traveling for the first time. I was surfing. I was doing a year solo trip surfing around the world. And I remember living the dream, and I was in Ecuador surfing every day, doing yoga twice a day, fit as anything, healthy as anything, surrounded by beautiful people, beautiful location. And I just went, I am meant to give more to this world. I was like, I could do this forever. Like, this is the dream. So I've got an income, I've got people, I'm doing the things I love, but it's not enough. Like for me, and this is not to say that this isn't good enough for some people, but for me personally, I just knew that there was more that I wanted to give to the world. And at the time, I didn't know what that was. I just knew that I had to get back into the world.
Yeah, it's interesting. I must admit, this is something I've actually gone back and thought about, because I remember my moment of, and I can go back now and understand it wasn't that I wanted to give more of the world or contribute more. I just suddenly recognized that there was so much wisdom within me, and I wanted more. I wanted to know what that was.
Yeah.
And then how can I do that? How can I play with that? You know, my languaging back then would have been very different, but I can look back and know that moment was about that.
Yeah.
There was so much more of me in the world that I wasn't putting out there.
Yeah.
How can I put that out there?
Yeah.
You know, and it just so happens that I get to, contribute and help people transform, and, like, that's how it rolls out for me.
Yeah.
However, I know what you're saying though. There is, it's almost like we're trained not to be selfish, it took a long time for me to come to that. And to go, I wanted to give more. No, actually, I'm going to do that anyway. That's a fucking byproduct. I want to know what more is in me.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
feel it. It's in there. It's
Yeah.
rising. I want to know what that more is.
Yeah, that's so, I love how you've brought that, because like the train of thought for me was definitely like, I want to contribute more to the world.
Mm.
But then when I look at it, like if I was to be really honest with that moment, you're probably right. It was somewhat ego driven as well, where it's like, I've got so much to share.
But is
Now,
it ego, Nick? Sorry,
yeah,
I'm struggling with that because why can't the soul wants more?
the soul wants more and the ego wants more. This is my take on it, right?
Okay.
The ego's place is to support your soul's desires.
Mm.
Right? So the ego and soul can work very beautifully together. If we didn't have ego, we wouldn't be talking because we'd be blobs. We don't have an identity.
Well,
We
with
wouldn't have a
personality, that's our
conversation.
ego. It's our personality.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
suppose, yeah, because we place so much meaning in the ego.
And we make it be a bad thing when really it's just taken a wrong place where we lead with it rather than it being in support of our soul's desires.
Yes, heart and mind. That's me. Like
Exactly.
let the heart lead because that's your compass.
Exactly.
It's going to give you
Yes.
direction, and the mind is the map. So to just
Exactly.
work out the shitty details. Don't worry about those. Heart, you don't need to worry about that. The brain can go get to work and do that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I look at ego and soul
Precisely.
now. Soul is the driver.
Yeah.
The ego is the passenger
like,
going, do you want to go see this? And distracting you a little bit if you're not in tune with it.
yeah. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm certainly glad that you wanted to explore them all within you, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is where the travel comes in, to be honest, because it is the exploration. I embody the explorative adventure archetype. And whether that is physically traveling or that is traveling within consciousness, I will always be exploring. That lights me up. That makes me feel alive.
I love that. So, now that we've like skirted around it, I want to come back because I feel like I did interrupt you answering my question, which is, what does being of contribution mean to you now? Like in your current present moment of how you contribute, what does it mean to you now?
Oh, what does being of contribution mean to me now? I think it's just being present.
Oh, I love that.
There is nothing more for me to do or to be for anyone else or anything else. It's just being present.
Ah, that's magic. Yeah, because it doesn't, I think sometimes we can get into that comparative stage, of like, oh, they're doing this and they're doing that. And you can just kind of forget that just being here and being present. And I will have a cadence of coming from a place of love in the most purest way that you can, in the moment that you're in. But yeah. Just be present. Don't listen to the crazy stories of your mind because...
Oh my God. Those stories are hilarious though. If people could have like a little microphone in my brain.
I mean, sometimes like you just like, I will laugh. I'll be walking along and I'll recognize I'm not being present and my brain's gone somewhere and I catch it and go, what the fuck was going on there? What?
Like, can you see that though? Like a little video camera where your eyes are like a video camera and then they've got an audio over, which is your brain, and your eyes are seeing something and your brain's talking about something completely different, like unscripted somewhere else. It's like, that's how I saw that. Like,
yeah, but I get picked up on my kids, right? So they'll be talking to me sometimes, and I've actually said to them, now they know the rules. If I'm not looking at them, then highly likely unless they've got my attention, I could be somewhere else because it's happened. But they've busted me once. I wasn't being very present, like a very scattered, kind of a moment, and they were talking to me, and then I had to say, oh shit, I got nothing of that. Sorry. My brain was about 3 suburbs away. And they're like, Mum. And I went, let's face it, that's pretty impressive though. I'm looking at you and
but I'm way over there.
They didn't find that was impressive, I've got to say.
Oh.
And, and fair enough, I needed to apologise because I did have my eye contact. So how's that? So you're right. Imagine that. If we could have little earpieces going on and listening to the shit that comes out of our brain.
Oh my goodness. Surely that's a $1 million virtual show on Netflix or something.
Oh my God. I mean, look, very quickly people would change and become very aware of what's going on in their mind, because they would start to be like, oh my God, did I just think that? What? You know, like you'd almost have little electric shocks from your brain the whole day.
Yeah, and your voice, that ego being so amplified and your mind being so amplified, you'd be like, whoa, I can't believe how many thoughts I'm running at the same time.
100%. Yes. Yeah. But you know, I don't know about you, the more and it is a practice of being present. I'm not a master at it. I certainly still have many moments throughout my day where I have to zone in. But I tell you what, the more I practice it, the more life becomes fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm with you. I am a work in progress. I always will be. I don't believe I will reach enlightenment or wherever that last place is.
I don't want to, just saying. I don't know if I want to, because, you know, like, this is fun.
This
I
is
like
fun.
making mistakes now.
Experiencing is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But presence, as like you said, it's a practice, and it just and I completely agree with you, where it's like, the more that I am able to be present, the more joy I get from life. It's like so beautiful.
It's almost like for me, being present is often like a mischievous child at times, or, you know, really curious child, because I'm like lasered and I suddenly go, oh, what's that about? Like,
Yeah.
what did she say? I get really excited. I love it. Always. So then let's talk about some of your clients. And I've actually separated out this question because I do want to know if there are differences between challenges, because I'm a healer and a coach.
Yeah.
And so for me, there are different challenges in either sides of, you know, those offerings that I have.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what are some of the main challenges for healers in creating an abundant business?
So I think for me, when I work with healers, it's a lot around the wound of, because I have a gift, I'm not allowed to earn money from it. So there's a lot of guilt around the fact that they have a transformative gift that comes to them so easily. It's like, I didn't work for this, it just came, you know, or I just did a training and I was really good at it. And so now I'm not allowed to charge what I want to charge for this.
Look, I've definitely had that moment, because I channel, and so I was just doing it as a standard healing until a business coach came to see me, had a healing from me, and afterwards she propped up and said, "Now we need to talk about separating your healings, because you can't be charging that for that. That was insane." One, I didn't know what I was showing up to.
Yeah,
that's a lot. So, but two, the amount of information that you just gave to me, and like what we did, that's not your standard healing session. That needs to be different.
Yes.
And I struggled for a long time with her suggestion. But then one day I dialed in, like it was probably only a couple of weeks after we had that conversation. I just went, bam, that's how much it is. I don't question it now.
Beautiful.
But I get that. So then what are some of the other challenges? Because I agree, guilt.
Yeah, so there's the guilt over the gift, and then there's a lot that just comes, and actually I see this with not only healers but coaches too, like the full spectrum. It's the relationship with money that they've had before. Okay. So it really is about how have I viewed money? What are my ideas about it? How have I handled it in the past? What was I taught about money? And what was I taught about, there's something there about the selfishness of having a lot.
Yes, because money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to put it out there. I'm pretty sure that was started by elite people just to like make people think it is evil.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, who started that shit?
Or it could have been started by poor people who wanted more but couldn't figure out how to have more, and therefore made it evil so they wouldn't want to desire it.
Yes.
You know, who knows? Either way, it's there in consciousness, mass consciousness, that it's selfish to have a lot of stuff. It's selfish to have a lot of money. It's selfish to have that abundance for myself. So actually, we just talked about this in my private group coaching, about this idea that we have to have a larger purpose to create abundance in our business, and we are not, ourselves are not a good enough reason to just create abundance for ourselves in our business.
Yeah, that's a massive statement, because it's so true. And that's outside of business as well. I can't have what I want because there needs to be like an intention, a reason, like I've got to deserve what I want in order to have it. So I've got to go out and improve myself, or lose weight, or you know, like be a better person, or you know, like learn to meditate, or whatever it is. I need to be more so that I can have more.
And not even be more, I need to make sure people know that I have a bigger purpose, so I don't look selfish with wanting what I want, right? Which is the whole idea. Like, both of us will talk about soul's purpose with our clients, right? And some people get so caught up in that. That's the crux of them deciding that that's why they're allowed to create the abundance that they want in their business, but they're not actually allowing themselves just to be the sole reason that they're allowed to have abundance in their life. You're allowed to, just you, without
you can
your
just ask purpose. You don't have to do anything different. You can just want it, really, you know, and then be in the vibration of, that's just how it is. I'm awesome. But therefore I can have awesome things.
I'm allowed to, just me, with no bigger agenda. That's actually fine. That's cool. So I guess that's coming down to judgment of others. You know, what will others think when I make money out of what I do?
And I wonder, looping back around to that guilt over the gift, because, you know, what I found is circles of people were suddenly around me that were like, oh, you can try on me if you want, you can practice on me. And I was like, I don't need to practice. Even in coaching, I don't know about this, but I had people, you know, boundaries is probably, how do you work? Because would that be a big thing, working with coaches and healers around boundaries?
It used to be in my work earlier on. Not so much now. I think where my clients are at, like, you know, a lot of you will be familiar with the stages of a client, like where they are in their journey of business.
No, can you go through that? What's that?
Okay. So when we talk about business and who you work with, you think about, where is my client at? And if I look at who, like this question about boundaries, I used to work with that client at that stage of their business where boundaries was an issue. Now I work with people who are a little bit more, and I don't want to say evolved, but that's kind of, they've evolved, and they've actually are fine with their boundaries here. So that I don't get so much of the boundary issues here. The only boundary issues I probably get would be about, it wouldn't be about the free exchange. It would be about the asking for the discount. So when people put up their prices, some of the boundary issues come up with, like, oh, do you think that you could give me, or I can't afford that, so could you make it, that kind of thing. That would be more of the boundary issues.
I've definitely moved through those.
But even beyond that, like, to be honest, my current, if I think about the clients that I work with now, they don't really have those issues with boundaries in terms of money.
Well, that's good though. I like that. Because it's showing, if you're in business and you're listening, you know that there is an evolution through it. And do you feel like you need to go through those stages, or it's just natural?
I think it's just natural. Like, I think the more that you claim how valuable you are, the less that you're able to put up with that bullshit. Sorry. Once
you own your, and I think that's, you know, the guilt over your gift as well. Once you actually value that gift and own it, then becomes very different. There's even a vibration of how you speak up your prices and what you say. It's funny. I over the years have had different coaching costs. I worked with people for 6 months, and once I got to what I do now, like as soon as I said it, was probably the first time I'd ever set a price that I was like, that's it. So I was
Yeah,
always discomfort with
beautiful.
other prices, and it's because I was
Mm,
undervaluing myself.
yes.
So once I hit them, I was like, wow, that came out really easy.
Oh my gosh, yes. If you value yourself 100%, the price that you put on, whatever price that is,
Mm.
will come out so comfortably.
Yes.
Yeah, and it feels really exciting for you to say, and it is felt by your person at the other end.
Mm.
They are stoked with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. So then that's with healers. Are there any other like abundance challenges, like creating, a six-figure income from healing?
Yeah, I think healers and coaches, there is an idea as well with healers. It's like there is a price point that exists, like a plateau, a group of prices that I'm allowed to charge. So
Can you
especially,
help me understand that? What does that mean?
so someone who say has trained in say Reiki, which is quite
Mm.
a, they're
Yep.
like, they'll look at industry set prices, what their peers are generally charging.
Mm.
And that is also tied in. So they start to tie that into not only looking at what industry prices are indicating, but also looking at like hourly rates. So it starts to become an hourly rate thing. Okay.
Oh.
So like it's $150 an hour. Whereas what needs to be shifted there is what is the transformation? And you price upon the transformation of that. The shift, so the block of abundance is understanding, like we just talked about, your value and the value of the transformation of your work. Like how life-changing do you truly believe your piece of work is, and then
Mm.
charging accordingly. Now that is actually quite difficult for some people to do, to claim exactly the
Mm.
transformation that they provide, and to step into that and just go, yeah, what I give is freaking amazing. Like it is life changing. It is going to, when my client leaves my space, their life has changed for the better. This is priceless. And so therefore I get to price it however the goddamn I want. Like that is the work there, and that piece there is claiming how amazing your piece of work is. And you are.
Mm. Oh, I love that. And then it becomes easier to ask for money as well. I know that's been part of my journey, is
Yeah.
just the ask.
Yeah.
And recently I'm very clever. I'm not tech savvy at all, right? So it's taken me a while, but I've connected payment to my calendar now.
I
So
saw that. I was
I
like,
was so proud of myself. I know
yeah.
you'd be like, woo, high fives. But to me, because then it's just done. Like I
Yeah.
thought, how do I do this? And it was someone else talking about what they were doing. And I was like, how do I connect that to my website? And in the end, I didn't need to. I just needed to connect it to my calendar that they book through.
Yeah.
And then it's
Beautiful.
all there. And I thought,
Yeah.
yes, it took me like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Awesome.
I
And
know. And just thought, oh my God.
even talking about this, like, does bring out things about abundance where people think, I can't because I'm not tech savvy, or I can't have abundance because I'm not, insert your thing here. So it's
Mm.
that belief of like, again, we're talking about like why do you believe you can't be abundant? And usually there is a really simple way of getting through that. Yeah.
I love that. So then that's, we're mainly talking about healers in that space. What about
Yeah.
coaches? What are some of the challenges that come up for coaches?
Around abundance.
Yeah, creating an abundant business, a six-figure income.
Yeah. So to be honest, I don't really see a differentiation between healers and coaches,
Okay.
apart from the gifts part. The big one, which always comes up, actually, is always about the value, which we've talked about. It's always about, because no matter, even if you think you've done the work, when you want to up level next, can you? And where will that take you? Because when I talk to my clients, I'm like, when it becomes, the fear kicks in more when you take a bigger leap. So if you have decided that you are, say, you are earning $40,000 at the moment per year out of your business, whether it's coaching or healing, and you decide, I want to make the jump and make a six-figure business, that to some people is a very small jump. Yeah, because they're used to that kind of leap. For some people, that's a huge jump. And if it's a huge jump, along with the huge jump comes the ego, which brings in a big amount of fear, because it doesn't want to move or change. And so then you have to knuckle down even more to understanding your value and transformation, 100% own and embody that, live that, to be able to comfortably command your new prices.
Mm.
So to be honest, this is really actually revelation for me, is like when I look at all of the little things I could work on with someone about abundance blocks, it actually almost always comes down to this piece of valuing themselves. Almost always. And that valuing yourself is part of the self-love things. So at the end of everything, and this is what I believe to be true, at the end of everything, if you want to heal from anything, you just need to love yourself. Anything. If you want more abundance, love yourself. If you want to have a better body, love yourself. If you want to have an awesome relationship, love yourself. Like if you want anything to change in your life, love yourself even more. And value is part of that loving yourself.
Well, that's soul work, isn't it, babe?
That's soul work.
That's soul work, because the soul only knows love.
And we get to, it's so funny because even in this conversation, I'm like realizing how we want to complicate things. Like even in the question, it's like I was searching for like, what are the different types of beliefs that people come in to get the, and then when I got down to it, I was like, no, it actually just comes down to one thing, always one thing. We get to actually, this is always what I say to my clients, and such a good reminder for me now, everything gets to be simple. Even our self-healing and our journey on anything gets to be simple. So with this, any limitations you feel, just return to self-love. At the root of everything that you need to be healed is a love for yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
did we get
that? Did we get that question now?
Yeah. So I actually, because I know there's sort of, I guess, 3 ways that you, having a look at your work, and there's 3 things that you really talk about consistently, which is mindset, energy, and strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to break it down a little bit and understand, what does mindset mean to business growth?
Okay. So mindset is really about all of the thoughts that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which are attached to the beliefs that you have,
mm-hmm.
which then affect how it is that you act and respond in the world. Yeah, so if we can tackle this, can still almost be the easiest piece to grasp for people, because all you have to do is listen to what you're thinking about to understand what it is that you believe and therefore how you're going to act.
Let's let's talk about the wide world right now. And, your clients might be a bit more dialed in, but if we're talking about the wide world, how many people what percentage of people do you think actually know and take any kind of time to go, holy shit, is that going on up there?
Yeah, not a lot. You're right. Not a lot.
It's not trying from a judgmental perspective, but I often think about that.
Yeah.
Because like you, I'm a self-aware person, and I've taken the time to slow down and get to know what is going on in my brain. And, I often ask anyone, what's the first thing you think of when your feet hit the floor? And blank stare most of the time. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking about, actually. So what happens when people start getting to know what's going on in their brain and what meaning they're attaching to things, and, subconsciously some crazy shit going on? What happens? What?
So often when people start to understand how they're thinking, what I believe this does is that they just start to have more control over how it is that they're thinking and acting in the world. So if we think about the business growth aspect of that, it's like, why am I not showing up for my business? Why am I scared of being on video? Why is, like, I'm taking very strategic things of your business, right? Yeah. Why am I scared to charge what I want to charge? Why am I not able to make the sale? Why am I scared of saying my price on the sale? Like all of those things. And then you start to listen to the chatter in your mind. What are the thoughts that are coming up when you are looking at that particular part in your business where you're struggling?
Yeah, no, I love that, because it's really speaking to, like, you've got to find, we can get caught up in the busy and the distraction, right?
Yeah.
But when we slow down, is that really what you're talking about? Like just slowing it down?
Yeah, you've got to take the time to look inside. Like I'm always like, you can do all the strategy in the world, but if you don't have your energy and mindset behind you, it's going to fail. Like, or it's going to feel like hard work. Yeah. So either one of those two things to me are both unbearable. Like I don't want either of those things. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they make everything a bit heavy and hard and
Yeah.
it's tiring living from
Tiring.
it's really tiring.
Yeah.
So then what about energy then? What does that mean to business growth?
This is the part where I think that you can make the biggest leaps in your business quicker. Because if we think about energy and how energy works, energy is not on a timeline. Energy is beyond your ego. So ego is where the timeline exists, where you think that you have to do things incrementally and step by step, right? Energy just is. Energy exists. The energy of which you want to create what you want to create exists right now. So the quickest way to get what you desire is what we chatted about right at the start, which is allowing yourself to be in the vibration of what you desire right now in this moment. Yeah? You become the vibrational match of that thing, not by working towards it, by just being it now. This is not, to me, it's not a big secret. I think it's just the part that people skip the most and they don't want to work on because it seems so illogical to your brain. Your brain's like, I can't just do energy work and get what I want. Yes and no. Okay, so no as in you have to kind of show up in the physical world to do your thing at this current moment in time of how we've evolved as humans. When we evolve into interstellar beings, perhaps we can just think it'll happen. But
into
right
light
now,
beings as we ascend, yes.
Right now, where we are in the body, we must do physical things. But it is the quickest way to create change. Like, if you were to take any of those things, strategy, mindset, or energy is the one that you should focus on.
Wow. Because, you know, in my mind, because I love a good structure, I love a good list. I'm much more feminine with the way that I plan my day now. Like,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot more space within it. But I actually had in my mind, okay, we've got to start getting aware of what's going on in our thinking. Then we can work on energy, and then, you know, we can. Wow.
I'm going the opposite. Like, so when you work, like when clients work with me, we go energy heavy. Like I'm like 80% energy, 20% other stuff.
Wow.
Like energy and mindset. But energy, if we're going to break that even further down to 3 categories, it'd be like energy is like 60%, 20% mindset, 20% strategy. Big call,
look,
hey?
you know what? No, well, I get that because, you know, it happens in everyday life. You know, when you rock into a car park that's full. I mean, I go in there like, show me my car park.
Yeah.
Like I'm flirting with the car park. When I go in there, I'm like, there's my car park. And then we'll drive into our car park. And a couple of times I've gotten into car parks that have been further away. But I tell you what, one story was I've had to park further away than I wanted to. And I thought, what? And I started to I had a moment of like, oh God. And then went, no, look, this is where we've got the car park. It's super busy. So this is cool, right?
Yeah.
As we were walking out, where I'd kind of been looking for in the first place, as we were walking out, we had to walk past there was a bit of a brawl going on in regards to car parks. Like people were, you know, like and we weren't in there for very long. I was literally in there for 10 minutes because it was like quick in and out. So that's why I was kind of complaining about having to walk further. Very lazy.
Yeah.
All right. Not gonna lie. But on the way out, I literally was like, oh my God. And my daughter said to me, well, that's lucky we didn't park over there.
Exactly.
Because there was police becoming involved. It was I was like, people, it's a car. So, you know, it wasn't until the after, and I thought, thank you, beautiful universe, for showing that actually energetically I was over there because I was having a flirt with the car park and it flirted back. So
yeah, exactly. It was like, your energy matches this car park over here, not the one where the ball's going to happen.
You're fun. Come over here. But, you know, like there are those aspects of energy that, you know, when we're looking for that magic and we're looking for, you know, just the divineness of it and how it shows up. Yeah, I'm feeling you now. I really had it in my mind that was like mindset, energy, and strategy. And now I'm having to pull back and go, ooh, yeah.
Energy,
you're
mindset,
right.
Strategy. You just said it there. It's like magic.
Yeah.
That's where the magic lies, in the energy. And because, the energy comes, energy is your soul, is that soul and the connection to the universe. the mind is still part of the ego realm. Yeah, because your mind is the logical ego realm. So if you want to talk about like vibrational states, which one's higher? Energy, of course it is. That's your soul connection, that's universe connection. So that is the thing that can move the quickest.
Yeah. Look, and that's, I start that with clients. The first thing I do is emotions and energy and what sits around them, and you know how we can move through them and how you can use them for your benefit, and then like disconnect from the stories as well and just have some fun with them. But that's an energetic practice, and there's many energetic practices in there, and it's only mindset happens later on.
Yeah,
you're right. I love that. What are some of, like, I want to hear about clients that have, like, what are some memorable energetic shifts that you've, you know, been part of?
Oh man, okay. Let
you choose.
Let me choose. So I had one client at the start of this year who had a big vision about changing an industry, the hospital industry in the US. And when she first dived into working with me, she ended up at a dinner. So this is the part of the energy that I really want to think. She's on holiday right now. Okay, it's Christmas holidays. She's taking a break, but she set the intention before we finished up the end of the year. And she's like, this is what I want to do. I need to talk to someone who has a connection to huge hospitals in my area so that I can just get a contract, like a corporate contract as my gateway in. I'm sick of working with individual nurses. I want to get corporate contracts because then I can make the big impact that I desire. And I was like, right, we said it, let's do this. She's like, yep. So she's sitting at a dinner table around Christmas, happens to sit next to someone who knows the CEO of the hospital that she wants to get in contact with. In the start of this year, she ends up having, like, after a while, kind of with emails and phone calls and things not quite like lining up, she's like, I'm never going to get a sit with this guy. Like and I said, let's set this again. Like when you said, I mean, how awesome was it that you ended up sitting next to someone who had a direct contact? I said, first step, done. Now we need to keep the energy going and get this fucking meeting booked in.
Yeah.
So she changed her energy, and the next day had him on the call. And then when he was, instead of just a phone call, he was like, I love what you do, because she was in the energy and vibration of creating what she had already created. Yeah. He's like, you know what? We can't talk about this over the phone. Come into my office. She came into the office. He offered her a job. So that's not what she wanted. But he's like, I'm going to give you $250,000 plus benefits, health insurance, a car to work for me on your idea. She's like, I mean, that's great, but that's not my dream. What I want to do is I want you to contract me in my idea. And he's like, damn it. But he's also, as in, damn, I wanted you all for myself. Yeah. So they are now working together to implement her life-changing program through that hospital on her terms in the easiest way. Yeah.
And you know, that really speaks volumes to that work that you do around honoring your value.
Yeah.
You know, because that's part of your energy, is like, no, actually, this is what I want.
Exactly.
And my value is not in working for you, it's working with you.
Exactly. And because she knows she wants to scale this to multiple corporations.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar business for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she can't do that when she's contracted to work for one person at 250,000K.
No.
So this is the energy piece. Like that to me was just like, oh, you know, that was about being an energetic integrity. And even when she hit the wall where she couldn't get the contact, she came back into the vibration, and suddenly she was in through the door, and then suddenly he's asking her to actually have a face-to-face meeting. This is a busy guy, you know.
No, I love that. Look, I've actually been offered to coach through a business, and
beautiful.
No, as in as in work for someone else.
Oh God, no.
And so I've been contemplating it and having a look at what I need to do and and you know what? I've been procrastinating, but I love procrastination because often it leads me, you know, in the right direction, because it shows me, do I really want that? Because if I really wanted it, I'm pretty motivated. I'll go do it. Yeah. So it's just highlighted to me that's a hard no.
I'm glad you got some clarity. That's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you very much. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about strategy though, because obviously that has, like, okay, we've got the energy mindset, but I mean, really, you've got to have a plan.
Yeah, you do and you don't.
Okay. I'm like, oh, I'm in. What's this about?
So I used to be very much on the side of like, you must have a plan. You must have a plan. Okay. Now, I believe your plan can be loose, very loose.
Ooh.
And this allows, like you were talking about how you were stepping into your feminine side. This allows that feminine energy to come through your business, which I think the balance between the masculine and feminine energy in your business is so important. And finding your particular balance is really important. So for those who love goals, like if we talk about a plan in terms of a goal setting, there's people who thrive on goals and there's people who really hate goals.
Okay.
So again, you get to understand how it is that you work. The only thing I would say in having a plan for strategy would be the only part you absolutely need is to be clear on your vision.
So yeah, okay, like intention, vision, yeah.
What it is that you want to create. Like, understand what it is that you want to create. Because if you understand what you want to create, every decision that you make from now can be filtered through that vision. So does this fit the vision? Yes or no? No? Okay, not doing it. Yes, doing it. Okay, easy, really freaking easy. That is your decision making. You don't need to sit there and go, oh, does it feel like... No, it's either yes or no. Does it fit the vision or not? Done.
Yes.
And the vision includes not only what you're offering and how it's being offered, but how you're feeling in the moment.
Yes. Yeah, because if you've attached a story to an emotion and decided it's about emotion, yeah, it shifts the energy 100%.
Yeah. So for me, like in terms of, if we talk about strategy and the planning side of strategy, it's like some people really thrive on having the goals and goalposts to get to and things to do. And other people, it will totally work just to have the vision and then to follow. And we talk a lot about this as following the soul tugs that ultimately always take you closer to your vision.
Yeah, I'm that girl. Like that's me. I'm that woman that prefers to have the vision. And then I always pull back and go, is this in line? Like, is that in the energy of, and is it in that? Is it in the energy of my vision and what I want, my heart? No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, let me go do that. And also, like, I love it. I've got body cues now. Like, my body lights up when I do stuff. So even if my brain's going, we have no idea where this is going to lead, Emma, like, what are you doing? My body will show me.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm turned on, like I can feel my body go, yeah. Do this. And so that's why I've kept my podcast going and growing and remembering all these amazing men and women that are in my community and continue to come. Like, I just keep meeting people now. I love it.
Yeah.
And then remembering, and someone will show up and I think, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't get onto them. But it's all divine timing. I love that. But there's a little, and that's obviously part of the energy as well.
Absolutely.
And knowing yourself that, ooh, let me follow that because I'm excited. My body's excited. So let me go have this conversation. And even though I still have no idea, but I'm having a great time.
And I think that's so important, like having a great time on your journey. Otherwise, what the hell's the point? If you're just going to like struggle all the way up until you get there, wherever there is, you're probably going to get there and feel miserable anyway. So then you get there and then the next getting there is shitty as well. It's like, there's no point. There's no point. And it takes us away from the joy of the present moment, which is the big lesson. It's like,
Nik, that's really powerful though, because people do get caught up in the struggle, that it's hard work. And I'll put both my hands up.
Oh yeah, I've been there too.
100%. And you know what? I still find myself there every now and again. Well, I've got to do this hard work because that's how I get there. And then soul starts, hey, actually, no. No. Or effort. I have to effort everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to circle back to the strategy part because I know that I've left some parts out for people out there who are going, yeah, but That's not heaps.
I'm a
like,
type A
more.
personality and I need stuff. I need like, give me a list.
Exactly, a little list of things. Like, I'm all for just following what feels good for you. So if you are that sort of person and you're just like, I really am productive when I have a list of things to do that, because it is joyful for you. Okay, so do that. Like, don't think that you don't have to have it because that's not feminine and that's not soul-led or wherever it is. Actually, it is part of your makeup, and so you get to honor your strength. Yeah. So if you are a person who goes, I want to make a contract with myself where I'm going to show up on social media 3 times a week, and I'm going to write a blog post every week, and I'm going to do this, and that makes me feel good, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's interesting because they're the things I do love a list. I'm not going to lie. Like I love it. However, how I work that list is very different.
Yeah.
So I used to be like, have to figure out the order of it before and now it's just write that shit down.
Yeah.
And then it's literally me looking at it, and it's an energetic thing. And I go, am I feeling that now?
Yes.
And sometimes I have something on my list for several days in a row, and I'll get to the 3rd or 4th day and think, why is that on there? Like, I don't even know why I've put that on there. Like, I'm not drawn to it. It means, like, what am I doing? So there's stuff that just, but I used to really be hard on myself about that. Like, I've got to do everything on there. It's obviously important because I wrote it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually, what's coming up to me, which feels important to say, especially for people who are working in the online space, is this idea around social media and having to show up all the time. So I know, because this is a huge strategy part that I work with my clients, especially, is the struggle around social media. And so I don't think I'm talking to people who don't understand. So if this is you, like, where you feel like you're listening to all the experts and they're saying to you that you need to be consistent, which means showing up every single day in social media, and this is not bringing you joy, I want to give you some relief there, because that is not how the algorithm works. So how the algorithm actually works is this: if you create one kick-ass banging post every 2 weeks and it gets a shitload of likes and a lot of comments and a lot of time of people reading it, it tells the numbers behind that every time you post, it's of value, and therefore I'm going to show it to more people. So I hope that brings to those of you who are in the social media space thinking that you have to show up all the time and are struggling with it, some relief. No, you don't. What you have to do is sit in silence and stillness, allow your soul to come through and ask, what is it that I need to create today that is absolutely potent and kick-ass for my people?
I mean, I feel you there, because it's about showing up as your being. It's not showing up in doing, it's showing up in being.
Exactly.
And who do I want to be?
Yeah.
In my business, how do I want to, represent my being?
Yeah.
Because you can get caught up in the doing, which I feel like is the struggle.
Oh, absolutely. And I hear that all the time with the struggle of social media for online businesses. Like, oh, I have to show up every day, and then if I don't show up every day, I know I could schedule it, but then I still have to create every day, and it's like, you actually don't.
No, and how you show up as well. Like, I've got a group, and I just do different things all the time, and I used to think, oh, it's got to be consistent, it's got to be the same all the time, and then I was like, no, it doesn't. It just has to be me showing up.
Yeah.
Because that's actually who they give a shit about being around and working with, is actually like, is she showing up as herself, and can I be myself around her?
Yeah. And remember that you're the boss, so you get to make the rules of any way that you do it, because it's your business. So why are you trying to create your business around what other people's rules are?
Yes. Give yourself permission. Yes. Oh God, I don't know how long that took me to learn that, honestly. Like, Jesus. I mean, that's not even how I coach people. Like, it's called an approach, because I approach, from your, perspective, like, and you're doing the same. Oh, I love it.
But that's with every single part, especially the strategy part. Yeah. And so every time I talk to my clients, I'm like, what do you actually want to do? Like, what do you want to do? How often do you want to show? What do you want to do strategically? Because I've been in this online space for now close to 10 years. I've done so many different courses on strategy, different types of strategy. I've seen it all done, and it all works. So you get to choose. You get to choose how you do strategy, and it will all work. It'll all thrive for you.
I mean, look, there's just been so many powerful things that we've talked about and you've mentioned and you've brought up, and I absolutely love the work that you do. I do want to ask you, do you have like sort of top 3 tips for soul-led growth in business?
Yeah. So the top one we've already covered, energy first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you've got to sit, if not every day, this is the task I give for my people, is know what you want, how it feels, sit in that vibration and try to maintain that vibration throughout the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So set reminders on your alarm clock if you have to, and then ask yourself, am I in the vibration of what I want? And if not, how can I get there? So it might be sitting there for 30 seconds and meditating and getting yourself into a feeling. It might be going out and climbing the mountain, as Emma said before, right? So how do I keep that vibration up? That is the number one thing of growth for your business. The second one I would say, top tip, is work on your sense of value. We've talked about this already. Yeah. And this is as I know it now, this may change for me, but as I know it now and as I've experienced it now, this is a constant work, the more that you up level. So the bigger your business gets, the more you have to come back and rework this.
Yeah.
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 So,
yeah.
And don't be afraid with that. Like, don't be disappointed with yourself that you're here again, working on the value piece. Like, don't go down that thing. Just know that it's an evolvement, and that this next level of value needs to come forward. This next level of claiming.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if I was to give a third tip about business growth, energy, value, which is tied into belief of yourself. Oh, get your people around you. Like, and I mean people as in a coach, a mentor, and peers. And by people, I mean get particular with your people. So for me, the only people I hang out with are people who I know challenge me to stay in the limitless essence of who I truly am. Don't put up with my bullshit of being small or my excuses about why I want to stay small, and are people who are several steps ahead of me usually, you know. So especially in a coaching space, they have to be where I want to be. Yeah. If not more. So your people around you, especially in the business space, online spaces, groups, everything. I vet everything with this. It's like the groups I have to be part of have to be high caliber people, all of that. They have to, I just don't have room for not feeling limitless, or for being told to be realistic, or for being pandied to my excuses, right? So choose wisely who you hang out with in the online space, as well as, if you can, in the spaces that you occupy in your life. Yeah. So your relationships, your friendships. Oh, this can get, I can feel some discomfort, like coming from some people who might be listening soon. It's like, oh, you know that's going to change your life. It will. And it might hurt to start to sever some relationships, but in the long run, it's going to serve you so well. So be brave. Like, love yourself so much that you're going to do it.
Yeah, as you shed layers, energetic, emotional, mental layers, you shed to the people around you. That's just a standard.
Yeah, surround yourself, get support.
Yes. So I've got final 3 questions for you. My final 3 whats.
Drum roll.
So the first what is well-being to you?
Happiness. I didn't think that too hard. It just came out of my mouth.
All right. So what are your must-do daily well-being practices?
Moving my body in nature, preferably. So that's the first thing. That's a non-negotiable. Spending time being present, whatever that may be. Okay, so sometimes it's just literally going for a slower walk, so not the exercise. Sometimes it's just sitting there journaling. And the last one is enjoy your food.
Such a food person. Agree.
Enjoy your food. Yeah. And enjoy, like, I don't know, I love to do a little like thankfulness for the food, like a blessing over the food and a prayer over the food, and just being like, thank you for nourishing my body that takes care of my soul, that takes me through this physical world. Like it's just so, and then you get to eat that, and the deliciousness of the nutrients that you're putting into your body is so nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. My final what impact do those practices and having well-being have in your life?
Oh, I think that immeasurable impact. I know that I'm biased towards taking care of the body because that's where I've come from. That's how I came into my spiritual understanding. But for me, I feel like the body is it's so much easier to create what we want when we feel really good in our body. You know, because if we're pain-free and we feel strong and we feel healthy, it's easier to be connected because we don't have to fight against it.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
Health, well-being is everything.
Yeah.
Without it, I don't know how you have a great life.
Exactly.
Oh, Nik, this has been amazing.
It's been so delicious.
I know. Oh, I love these. Delicious and rich, and so much goodness and value in this connected conversation. And I'm incredibly grateful for your time and energy today and your contribution. It's amazing. So if you're wanting to connect, if you're wanting people to connect with you, how do they do that?
The best way is to connect with me on Facebook.
Through your group? What's your group called? My
group is called the Soul-Led Business Revolution. That is where you're going to get the most value. I have a library of free resources on strategy, mindset, and energy topics that you can literally go through, and there's homework and things like that. So, and I'm live on there every week, so bringing a new topic of consciousness to your world. So that is like the most high value platform you can connect with me. Otherwise, if you're on Instagram, I'm kind of in and out of that space. And of course, you can connect with me on my Facebook page if you so desire.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome.
This is amazing.
And thank you to everyone for watching and listening today. And of course, like, share, and comments or questions below, and we can get back to you on those. Thank you for sharing your time and energy by being here on Connected Conversations. Bye for now. To connect with Nik, head to her Facebook group, The Soul-Led Business Revolution. To connect with me, head to emmamuir.com. Enjoy your day, and thanks for sharing your time.